Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wait Where We Talking About podcast, episode 236. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011. You can catch this podcast over on YouTube, where it drops topic by topic, or as one big video, and MP3 on podcast services on Friday. Remember, guys, anything you want to do to help out the show, like, shares, subscriptions, whatever it is, helps the channel grow. May seem small, but goes a long way. So we'd love and appreciate you for it. It's been a while. And, I know it's been a while because that intro took me like 3 or 4 times and I had to change stuff because we don't do them live anymore. So first off, before we get to any of the topics, if it's your first episode, hey. But if you're a returning person, appreciate your patience. I know it's been a while, a long time coming for this episode. It's been a few weeks, maybe a month since the last one. Yikes. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I was debating making this a whole topic of its own of the real life stuff. Nothing awful. I mean, there's been ups and downs, but one isn't there. But just in terms of like a burnout and confidence and I don't know, is it fun anymore and things like that. So trying to be better, not get myself in that rut of thinking, but it's hard. So I just want to apologize to you guys and just say thanks for sticking around. Thanks for being patient with me. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for checking out the streams when we do those. That's all. Just quick little bow on that. But that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about random topics, have some fun. And if you guys want to join in on the conversation, of course, feel free to let me know in the comments section down below what your thoughts and feelings are on the topics today. Speaking on topics today, we're going to hit a little bit of wrestling. We're going to be talking about Wrestlemania, booking so far as it's looking. We're going to be talking about the MCU, kind of doing a quick little review on Captain America Brave New World, but then kind of figuring out how all these pieces come together. And then we're going to wrap up with the WWE 2K25 review after a few weeks of playing it. My thoughts and feelings on it, or rather this year's iteration. So let's get on into it. So let's talk about Wrestlemania 41 as we head into it. So we're still a little less than a month away from WrestleMania, and I think my inflection and tone right there kind of already puts a stamp on like how I'm feeling towards this Mania. I want to be excited, but for right now I'm kind of in this weird lull of like not boredom, but worry, lack of excitement, whatever it is. I know the nights are going to be great, and there's going to be a lot of good matches as we're going to talk about here that are going to be exciting. There's going to be a lot of energy behind them. Obviously, the crowd at WrestleMania also adds to that. But yeah, just some of the builds, or I guess the amount of time to build, which is only a little bit different. I think this is a later WrestleMania than typically it is, but you still have, the build from the Rumble, the build from the Chamber. Obviously, there's still a month's time typically in between these events, so it's not anything super different, but it feels like things are dragging on, and there's not... It's kind of like a hurry up and wait situation, and there's a few of these stories that we're going to be talking about, or storylines that we're going to be talking about, where I feel like it's just like, all right, I get it, we're doing this, and while it started excited, it's just kind of dipped off from there. And it's, I don't know, I just haven't, some of the weeks I haven't even watched Raw and SmackDown too, and I know there's a lot of good stuff on there. It's just like my motivation level's been like, nah, I don't know. So as of right now, we got a few different matches that are announced. We've known about Jey Uso going for the World Heavyweight Championship with Gunther, thanks to the Rumble. Also with the Rumble side, we have Charlotte Flair going after the WWE Women's Champion with Tiffany Stratton. We have the newer stuff with Randy Orton and Kevin Owens squaring off. We have Bianca Belair going after the Women's World Title with Io Sky, new champ as of a few weeks ago. We have the triple threat with Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. And we have the undisputed WWE Championship, Cody Rhodes defending against John Cena. So, getting some build. There's also, tricklings of the SmackDown tag titles with Pretty Deadly, DIY, Los Garza, Street Profits, Machine Guns. probably do a multi-man like the ladder match last year. I'm totally fine with that. I like all those teams, so that'd be good. Trying to think. I mean, what's Penta doing? There's rumors and talking about the IC title picture. I mean, I know he lost last night DQ, or the match ended DQ. So is Penta going after IC with Braun and Finn and Dom and Ludwig and Pete? I don't know if they're going to do 6-pack, but you do a Fatal 4-way there. Ray Phoenix, how does that play into things? New Day's not doing anything. They're going after the Raw tag titles, which is held by War Raiders still, right? But Raw's tag division hasn't gotten the TLC, I feel, that SmackDown's tag division has. You got the women's tag belts. Are Raquel and Liv going to do anything? I think they should, for how Liv's succeeded this year. And then you got a Bayley. What's Bayley doing? Is Roxanne coming up? I'm trying to think of who else. Drew and Damien's been built. It's not official, but that'll probably happen. LA Knight, is he doing anything with the U.S.? Lyra with the women's IC. Chelsea with the women's U.S. Yes, there's a lot of titles now to kind of try and snake hole, pigeonhole, whatever you want to call it, into this 2-night card. Not impossible. It's just, it feels like some of these things are falling on the wayside. And there's a lot of big players, granted, they have them now, built up, that it's not super clear what they're going to be doing, and it's a little concerning. But we'll see. Time will tell. You got to give them. I say you got to give them time, as I'm like, there's too much time. Whatever. We'll figure it out. It's unfortunate though those stories don't feel as strong. Not that WrestleMania 40 stuff, outside of Bloodline Civil War with Dwayne and Final Boss stuff, was like, other stories were blown out of the water, really, in comparison, built up as that one was. And I'm sure you could say that for the Rhodes Cena stuff, kinda, maybe, in terms of a hype and like the excitement level. We'll have to see. So anyways, sorry, breaking this down. I don't have much to say about Orton and Kevin Owens. I think the Elimination Chamber between Owens and Sami Zayn was pretty good. I thought they could have gone farther, or at least how they were promoting it, I thought they were going to go farther. Don't get me wrong, there was some insane stuff in there. The double table spot, the stuff with the chair, landing on it and whatnot. Yeah, Kevin. But once again, just for all the build that they had put into it, of like, this is no holds barred, or no, sorry, unsanctioned, just led to believe, or led me to feel like they're going to push this farther, and then when they didn't, it was good, and that was it. And that's not awful, it just didn't have that payoff I guess I was expecting. And now to have it fall back to Orton, while there's the story there with the pile driver coming back, from that, I get that. The story totally makes sense 100%. It's just my excitement level isn't necessarily behind that. Do I think these two could pull off something that's good and entertaining? Absolutely. My personal investment is not behind it. So that's more of a me factor. And I feel that's the same with a decent amount of these builds. And I don't mean to be negative Nancy here, but Tiffany and Charlotte is a similar one, where I feel like both Rumbles have suffered from the 2.5 month gap. And I'm trying to think back as to how they handled this in the past. I feel like a lot of times they fell back to it's a running joke, but can they coexist storyline? Like, oh, we're friendly, we have to team up and go against some heels, and then, the fallout is towards that latter half. While I wouldn't want that, is that just how it seemed to go in the past? Or was there like, similar to how they're doing with Io, Bianca, and Rhea, this like middle point, at least contender for the championship, where champion A has to fight this contender, and then you can do the last month build with whoever the winner is, even if it is a say, a toss-away opponent because you know that person's going to hold the title to the end. Is that just what it was, or am I just overthinking things? I mean, granted. It just seems like both the Uso build and the Flair build both have been very strange, and it's just felt, because the time long and arduous. I know Gunther was beaten down on some people. I know he had a match with Axiom, which was great. I don't think the trend is really followed as of Monday with Jimmy Uso slapping him. That seems to be the route, and I think that's a good step. Get the motivation in Jay, you know, hurt my brother, whatever they want to go there. I think that's good. But I don't know if, like, beating up Otis, beating up Tozawa, that was super helpful. Obviously, Jay is over like nobody's business, and I'm really happy for him. I don't get as much of the internet hate, and I'm not trying to side with them being like, oh, that was a mistake, he shouldn't have won. No, go back to that Royal Rumble episode of we talking about it. I thought that was hype as shit that he won. You know, it's cool for the crowd reactions, this little program with A-Town Down Under. You know, it is what it is, just feels like filler without substance, and it's lacking there. And then, going back to the Charlotte and Tiffany thing, because I started and then went over to the men's side. They had that one brawl on SmackDown a few weeks ago. I was like, okay, yeah, cool. It's too early. It felt like that should have been like maybe the go home, beat the shit out of each other. And then the promos, I'm glad they decided to go Charlotte heel, but I don't know. Maybe this is just me not watching SmackDown in comparison to Raw as much. I just don't get it. It doesn't seem like anything comes out of what they're doing. I guess Charlotte, not scorched earth, that sounds a little dramatic, but Charlotte had a decent promo segment with Tiffany this past Friday and kind of, you know, wrung her out, and it was pretty brutal from what I heard. I don't know. And like I said, I don't mean to be negative Nancy here. Maybe this is just a weird reflection of other stuff that's been going on, but I'm like, okay, yeah, let's just get to it. Once again, I'm sure it's going to be a great match. Charlotte does amazing stuff. Her and Rhea last year, you know, was insane. I'm trying to keep blanking on what other matches, but like she shows out at Mania, and Tiffany's very skilled as well, and obviously had the success that she's had. So I'm sure these two will have an amazing night at WrestleMania. Excuse me. And it'll be a good one. It's just this weird build and wait and lull almost getting to that point. The Punk Reigns and Seth stuff, at least that's a little interesting. We waited a little while to that build. I like the continuation of Seth and Punk. They work really well together, and obviously at least they are, if they have personal feelings, they're staying professional. But the promos really come across well, where it feels emotion driven, and now adding the Reigns component into it. Weird path getting here. You know, we thought Roman would be doing something different. Obviously, you had the Bloodline Ulafala stuff and on the Netflix debut with Solo. Jacob Fatu's kind of just been fighting with Braun, being like, hey, yeah, we're doing big man brawls, but I don't get hurt. So you thought maybe that was going to be the route. This doesn't seem... I don't think Roman's lost aura, but it certainly feels weird from where he was. But that's the ebbs and flows of things. So I'm intrigued by that. I'm sure those three will put on a good triple threat. It'll be definitely be a different pace in comparison to the women's triple threat that I'm thinking, and I think a lot of people are thinking is going to happen with Io, Bianca, and Rhea. And this is where I'm going to get positive. Woo! Stoked Io won. Would have been stoked if Rhea and Bianca were doing solo. Any combination of this match happening, I am so excited. Big fan of all three of these ladies, and the fact that the triple threat is like pretty much there and looming on the horizon. I know next week we got a weird title match with Bianca, a special guest. You better not take this off Io. I think I'll be more pissed if you take it off Io and then don't give us the triple threat now, because it seems like you know, once again, they've been building to that, at least with the promos, the pushaways, all that stuff. We had the shock win by Io to get even into this picture. Since that win, it's been pretty clear. Triple threat, let's go. So if it's anything different, then it's going to be like, yeah, still being great, still going to be exciting, but just that little asterisk of like, sadness. But anyways, the three of them together is like dream scenario for me, and that's going to be awesome. Like, that will probably be my most anticipated match over WrestleMania weekend, even with the Rhodes Cena stuff going on. Very excited for that one. Another one where it's been a little bit of a weird build, but I feel like my excitement overrides it, like how Rhea just stole the contract and kind of signed her name on it, and almost a little kind of crybaby-ish about it. But I like that the audience is getting behind Io. I was a little scared that they wouldn't for some reason, just because obviously the language gap and barrier, and then doing the tag stuff for a while. But Io's gotten over, which is great. Bianca going back into the solo stuff. She's been on fire since she's come onto the main roster after that first initial gap back in the pandemic era. And Rhea obviously is blown up from what she's been doing. So really excited for that one. I hope they just stick the landing these next couple weeks in terms of a build. I don't know if Bianca comes out of this heel with the whole Jade Cargill stuff. Didn't mention them earlier, but that's a potential match of Jade and Naomi. Maybe that's a SmackDown Go Home show. I don't know. But does Bianca reveal to be heel along with Naomi and just being like, nah, I was kind of sick of Jade? Who knows? If all of them just stay face and fight it out, that's fine by me too. All right, so let's talk about the big one with Rhodes and Cena. So I think I'm more intrigued in this, like everyone, based on the storyline factors and not necessarily the match factors. No offense to John, he does okay. He does his stuff, but it's not, we're not going to be breaking the bank here. The Cena turn hit everybody. I think seeing the reactions of people more closer to Elimination Chamber. I think I did the exact same thing at home, as a lot of us did, where we're all popping off at Cody saying, Rock, go fuck yourself. And we're all stoked about that. We think, oh, Rock's back in business. And, maybe this is a good step instead of last year's panic. The hug. I think we all had that moment of like, oh, this is great. Wait, why is his face like that? Huh? What? And then it was like the explosion of feelings before, like, you're watching the car crash happen and you can't do anything about it. So the face, us going through it emotionally, mentally, all that stuff backs up, and then it happens and you're like, oh my God, we're actually doing it. It's been interesting with the promos these last 2 weeks I thought Cena's initial heel thing promo was good. The toxic relationship, I know, a little touchy-feely there and kind of but I thought it was good. I was intrigued. The follow-up on the Cody side of things, not that like he's done anything bad. It's another thing. It's just like, I know they're holding off them getting physical. It's that swelling of the balloon. But to have Cody come out, all fucked up from, what's his name? That doesn't matter. Rapper guy. It's a work, brother. Go out with the promos there. He's emotional. He's angry. Makes sense. And then Cena's finally there. He's in grasp, and he's just like, yeah, I'm going to do, we're all cool now. Not really, but like the tonality. Don't blame the fans and don't do this, and then just doesn't do anything to physically get back to him. I understand we're going to get to that point, but to do that 2 weeks in a row now of just Cena comes out, Cena bitches, Cody comes out, Cody's happy. Ugh. How does The Rock play into this anymore? Does The Rock play into this anymore? I would assume so. But right now it's just a normal match. I feel like Cena's got to win. Now with the switch, it would be weird to have him switch and not win. I think this works for getting him his 17th. I'd be happy with that. Then you can do other programs with him as a heel. People have talked about Orton. People have talked about Punk. I wish he would work with some other people, maybe people he didn't work with before, but I understand it seems like his schedule is also hit or miss for this farewell tour, but we still got a lot of time. Was he going till the Rumble was his last Rumble? Is he going to December? He might be going to December. So you still got, 9 months. You could do some stuff there. But time will tell with that. So just right now, predictions. I think Cena's the obvious choice. While I get why Cody could go over for a, passing the torch moment. Just seems weird for the move to have Cena go heel and then not commit to it fully. So I think Cena wins. We talked about Jay. I think Jay wins. That will be the go home feeling, or go home good feeling on maybe a night one. Oh boy. Then we get to the rough ones. Probably Orton wins. Tiffy and Charlotte. God, I don't want Charlotte to win. That's my thing with Charlotte. She's amazing. She's amazing in the ring. She's amazing in what she does promo-wise and character-wise. She's so good that I just don't want to see her anymore. Just So, I would hope Tiffany won there. You could push Tiffany, up more. But has Tiffany done the strongest in these coming in the last couple weeks, with this story? I don't feel she's really stuck out or improved, which is unfortunate. I feel like Charlotte's kind of swamped her. So it's tough. It's tough to say. I don't know. I guess Charlotte will win. Yeah, we'll see. Triple threat. Reigns, Punk, Seth. I guess if you want to keep Punk strong, to go for the Cena picture. Granted, bigger stage would probably be SummerSlam, so he could lose now. I just don't see what any of them get out of this, other than, obviously, 3 huge stars. Are we going to bring back the favor for Heyman, or are we just forgetting it? Is that lost in the wind? I'll say Punk wins the triple threat. And then the women's. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Like I said, I like all of them. Bianca's got her WrestleMania moment fighting Sasha, main event that one year. Rhea got her moment getting revenge against Charlotte last year. So does Io get the moment? Io's had only last year's Mania, I believe, against Bayley in a losing effort. So that could work. Keep pushing Io, elevate her over these two predominant forces of each side of the rosters here, or shows. I think that could work. And then, especially with how the story's been going, how they're kind of playing off Io, being like, nope, Bianca's the focus. Nope, Rhea's the focus. I think that could be good. I'd be happy, honestly, with any of them winning. With Bianca being out of the singles picture for a while. Rhea's a weird one, just because why drop it to then get it immediately back? Unless you're just stacking up wins. But yeah, I'm going to say Io. I'm going to say Io wins that one overall. Give her Mania moment, her win. And then also elevate her to be like, hey, she just beat both of these ladies. It's a big question mark of like where you go after this. Where do you set each of them up? If Bianca goes the heel route, I guess her and Jade could go afterwards. Rhea, I don't know. And Io, who do you build up for Io? Becky's always an option out there. I kind of like to see the Becky Lyra follow up a little bit more, with Lyra beating Becky for the NXT Women's a year ago at this point. Yeah, I don't know. But Mania, it's coming up. It's not here soon enough, in my opinion. Builds have been weird. I want to be excited, but I feel this weird, just kind of like waiting, this lull. I feel a little bit more excited about the NXT side of things. Obviously, we got Champ Stephanie Becker. I know she's defending one title tonight against Jada Parker, so maybe she'll drop it. Julia's apparently back. I don't know if she was on a house show or something, so that's sucky that she had the injury, but it wasn't enough of an injury to, keep the title. The Jordan Grace factor is exciting. Trick Williams is kind of an asshole, but him, Oba, and Javon's going to be great. What's Fraxium doing? Are they going against the new Retribution? Dark State, I believe their name is. We'll see. Things seem a little bit more exciting and enticing on that side of things. We'll see.